Hey, thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be coloring this super cute Whiff of Joy image called I Will Take Care of You. Isn't she adorable, fixing her little bear's boo-boo there? I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. Also make sure to check out the clearance section while you're over at the store. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I would love to have you come shopping with me. Also, if you could hit the like button if you like the video so I know, and if you're not a subscriber, do that so that you can get an email every time I upload a new video. So I've already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. So let's start out by outlining our image, and for that I'm going to use C0, and I'm just going to go clear around my image with a little outline. Let's start over here on the edge of our bear and just work our way around to the other side. And I'm not being too neat or tidy about it. I'm just drawing me a line all the way around, and when it's dry you will hardly see it, but it gives it a little bit of dimension so that it looks like they're popping up a little bit. So work our way around his boo-boo here, back around, and then we also want to do this side, so let's go here. This way, if you do it first too, when you get all done, if you got some on your girl and you want to erase it with your colorless blender, you can go ahead and do that. I don't usually worry about it because it's such a light color that by the time it dries you hardly see it. Go around all over her hair. And let's work our way back down to the other side. And to her sock. Next, let's work on our skin. For that, we're going to use E11, E21, E00, E000, and for our cheeks, I'm going to use R43, R20, and R30. So I'm going to go ahead and start down here on her leg with E11. And I'm going to give just underneath where it's got a little bit of a bend where she's sitting on it, a little dab. And let's do underneath of her skirt. Just a little bit there. And over here where it's going underneath of her skirt. And I think I'll give this section just a little bit more there. And then I'm going to grab E21. And I want to, let's get a little bit closer. I want to touch down on top of my E11, and I just want to pull that color down a little bit. And then I'm going to fill it in with my E00. And again, also want to touch down on top of my E21 so that I can soften the edge of that line. And then we'll go up here and we'll do her arms next. So again, I'm going to grab E11. And she's got a little bit of her arm showing over here. So I'm going to do a little bit next to the crook of her arm. And then let's do underneath of her arm here and along her sleeve a little bit. And I'm going to do a little dab on the end of her fingers. And then her arm's showing over here. So let's do this side. And again, let's get these fingers. And she's got a little bit of her arm showing on the other side of this little band-aid there. Next I'm going to go with the E21. And I want to soften my edge, so I'm going to fill in this little dab of section that's there. Yeah, and let's do the same thing over here. Touch down on top of our E11 and flick up into our white space. I'm going to soften that edge a little bit. Next I'm going to go with E00, and on this side I'm going to, or this backhand, I'm going to fill it all the way in. And even if there's no space left to color, I'm going to go over it just to soften my lines a little bit. And this arm, let's bring this up. And then I want to fill this front arm in with E000. And I tend to use this last color to go over the entire area. I'm going to go ahead and use that over here too, just to soften those lines up a little bit more. Next, let's do her face. So I'm going to start with my E11, and I'm going to go underneath of her chin, and a little dab behind her neck there. And I also want to use this color up here underneath of her bangs. Let's do a little dab here. And then I'm going to go with E21. I'm going to fill her neck in down here. And then I want to bring this color down and connect it to the other side. And then I'm going to soften the edges of this line. And next I'm going to go with E00. And I want to soften the edges of the line again. So we're going to pull that color up here into the middle. And I'm going to bring this color out on this side about to her eye. And down here on the forehead, we'll bring that down a little bit. And I'm not worried if it's got some lines, because we're going to add more color after her cheeks. This is E000. Okay, for cheek color, I'm going to go with R43. Let's add a little dab here at the edge. And then over here, we're going to go... That looks good. And then we're going to grab R20. And I want to soften the edges. And then I'm going to take R30 to soften it just a little bit more. Then I'm going to grab my E21. I'll go over the edge of my cheek here. And then E00's next. And I just want to go over my colors to soften that edge up. And then E000 to go over the entire face. And I'll go over her neck just a little bit right there. For her hair, let's use E42, E41, and Y000. I'm going to start with my E42. And let's go down here and start on this little pigtail she's got going on. And I'm going to add a little bit of shadows coming away from that headband, or from her little hair scrunchie. And then let's do a little bit here where it's going into her scrunchie. And then right here where it's coming out from underneath of her hair. And then for up here, for these, she doesn't really have a part, so I'm just going to kind of add a few little streaks in here. Same for this one. And then I'm going to say her part is going to be, right here. So I'm going to make all of my stripes go up from this little crown thing that she's got going right here. So let's do like this. And I'm trying to keep my pin going in the direction that the hair is going. And down here, let's go ahead and add a little bit of color right here. Then over here, I want to add a little bit of dark where this is coming out from underneath this piece. And maybe add just a couple of little streaks in here, like that. Next, I'm going to go with E41. So I want to add some more color down here. And then again, I want to keep my hair going in the same direction, so I'm just using my pen and making some flicking there. And then this side. out from behind this hair right here. Add a little bit more to that little section. Next we're going to go with Y000, and I just want to add a little bit of yellow color in here. So I'm just going to use the tip of my pen. I'm going to keep my pen kind of more straight and just draw some lines on. I think I'll add a little bit more of my E42. And just work my way around over here to this side. Next, let's do her skirt, her shirt sleeve that's showing underneath of her other shirt, and her little hair bands here. For that, we're going to use R17, R14, and R12. Let's go ahead and start with the little hair bands with R17. So we're going to add a little bit of that color down here on the bottom of this little circle. And then I'm going to add a little bit of my R14 right at the crook of the circle. And then R12 to fill in that little bitty space there. And then for the shirt, again, I'm going to start with R17. Let me turn my girl a little bit here. And I want to, there's a little crease right here, so I'm going to darken that. And then down here at the bottom of her sleeve, I'm going to bring my color up by flicking it away from my line. Then I'm going to go with R14. And then R12 to fill it in. And then for a skirt, again, I'm going to start with my R17. Let's add a little bit of color right here. And then down here where it's coming out from underneath of her skirt, I'm going to make it darker. Over here, here's some more shadow, so let's do that. And let's work our way from this side here. Over here. And then over here, there's a little underneath, so let's color that in real quick. But over here, here's a little line for a skirt, so I'm going to use that and bring it all the way up. Like this. And then same for this one over here, I'm going to bring this line up a little bit more. Like that. And then I'm going to turn it this way and flick from this line. That. And then I want to do this, it's dipping down in here, so let's go ahead and add some color in here, this little crease. And then I want to accentuate this little wrinkle, so I'm going to add a color there. Okay, then I'm going to grab R14 next, and let's add some color onto this line. I'm going to fill in this little section that's underneath, add a little bit of color right here, and then we're going to fill in some of these spaces. And I'll go from this way. And add a little bit here. And again, bring this color up. Now I'm going to take my R12 and I'm going to tip it off of my R14. So I'm going to grab a little bit of color off my R14 and I'm going to fill in the rest of this white space. This one right here. And then again for this side. that. And then I missed a little spot right here under her skirt, so I'm going to use R17 to fill that in. And then while I've got my R17 out, I'm going to color this little cross on this little Band-Aid box. For the stripes on her shirt, let's use G14, G12, Y21, and Y11. And we're going to start with the green stripes with G14. Let's add some color right here. And this little section. And then right here's under her shirt, so I'm going to color that in. And then we're going to bring this color for this stripe, skip one, go down and do the next one. Okay, and for the stripes down here, let's do and then we want to fill that in with G12. And then for the alternate stripes, let's start with Y21. And then we're going to fill it in with Y11. For her sock, we're going to use W1, W0, and W00. I'm going to start with my W1. I want to add a little bit of color down here at the bottom. And then right here in the crook where her foot is, her toes are bending up. And then I'm going to grab W0, and I just want to soften that edge. So I'm just touching down on it and pulling it up a little bit. I'm going to bring this color around the edge of her shirt there, or her skirt, and then I'm going to fill it in with my W00. Next, let's work on this Band-Aid box, and for that we're going to use W00 and B000. I'm going to start with my W00, and we're going to color this front part of the lid, and we're going to go down the side of the box. And then over here I want to go around the top of the box. And then I'm just going to flick towards my across to the front just a little bit. Then I'm going to grab my B000. I'm going to do a little bit here along the side. And then again I'm going to flick that up just a little bit. And I'm not going all the way to the top of the box. I'm leaving some of the box white. I'm going to just add a little bit of color. That. And then for the Band-Aids, we're going to use E33 and E31. So I'm going to go ahead and start with E33. And do a little bit of color here along the edge. And then she's got a little Band-Aid here she's holding. So we're going to put a little bit here along the bottom. And then I'm going to take E31 to fill that in. And same for these Band-Aids down here. And just give them a little dab of color there. For the bear, let's use W7, W5, W3, W1. And for his nose in here, his tummy, and his feet, we're going to use W1, W0, and W00. So I'm going to start with my W7 and add some shadows. So let's start here on his leg. And I'm just going to touch down on my line and then flick my pen up onto his leg. I'm going to exaggerate right here where there's a little bit of a wrinkle, or his foot goes up. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this side over here too. And then there's a little bit of his fanny showing right here that I'm going to color in. Next I'm going to grab W5. And we're going to touch down on top of our W7 and flick up. And this side over here. And then W3. And then W1 to fill that white space in. And then I'm going to start again with my W7. So we're going to add a little bit of color right here along his belly. And then for his arm, we're going to come down the back side of his arm. And then I want to do a little bit here where it's touching. And I think I'll do a little dab down here on his neck. And I want to bring this color a little dab, just a tiny line underneath of his chin. Then I'm going to go with a W5. Touch down on top of your W7, pull it out into your white. And again, I want to add a little bit of color up here underneath of his chin. And then I'm going to go with W3. And then W1 to fill that area in, the rest of the white area in. And let's hop up here and we'll do his face. So again, I'm going to start with my W7. And let's start over here on his ear. And we're going to add a little bit of shadow in here. Same for this ear. Let's pull this side out a little bit. Like so. And then a little bit here in the crook of his ear again. And then for his face, let's do here along this side. And I'm going to go up over his snout. And then for this side, I want to go over his snout. And then I want to pull a little bit away from this edge. So I'm going to use just the tip of my pen and add a little bit of a line here along the edge up to where his hair touches. Then I'm going to go with W5. We're going to add some more color on here. So let's touch down on this side, pull it out a little bit. Same for this side. We're going to go soften that edge there. And then I also want to soften my ears. Same for this side. go with W3. Let's work on an ear. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more. And this side. And then we'll work on his face. And I'll turn him into this side. And then I'm going to fill it in with my W1. And work on his face. I think I'll take my W3 again and pull a little bit more of that color in here. And then take my W1 and go back over it. Like that. Now for his nose, his belly, and his feet, we're going to use W1, W0, and W00. Let's go ahead and start with our W1. I'm going to go around his nose, and then this side of his face I'm going to color in. And for his feet, we're going to add a little bit of color down here at the bottom. And I'm going to go over these little wrinkles he's got on his feet. A little color for this. His belly, and let's go across. He's got his crease for his belly there, so I'm going to go ahead and exaggerate that. Then I'm going to grab W1, and I'm going to soften that edge. And I'm going to take W00 to fill in the whole thing. For inside of his ears and his nose, I'm going to use W1, R20, and R30. I'm going to start with my W1. Let's add a little bit of shadow here at the bottom of his ears and on his nose. I'm going to grab R20. And then I'm going to fill it in with R30. And then I forgot to do his little owie here, so I'm going to use W00 to just fill in his little boo-boo. For the ground, let's use E43, E42, and E41. I'm going to start with my E43 to add some shadows. So I'm just going to start here behind the Band-Aid box, and I'm going to draw a little line underneath her and over to the other side. And then I'm going to come back and let's do some underneath this side and over here where her foot is touching the ground and a little bit underneath of her skirt. And for the bear, let's go around him. Like that. Then I'm going to grab E42 and I want to soften that edge and bring out my color a little bit. So I'm just going to go right along that line and brush over it And I bring this color around my box. Oops, and there's some wrappers from my Band-Aids I forgot to color. And I'm going to grab E41. And just lighten that color a little bit more. Then I'm going to take my E43 again, and I'm going to go back and add some shadows back in underneath my girl. Darken it up just a little bit more. And then, because I forgot to do my Band-Aid wrappers here, let's do E31 on those. So there is our beautiful I Will Take Care of You image all colored up. Doesn't she look super cute? Love her. And again, here is the finished card. And on her, I added some Sharpie white paint pen to her cheeks. And don't forget to shake that with the lid on. And then I did some Spica clear glitter pen in her hair up here. In this card kit also, I stamped this cute little sentiment for you. If you don't want to use the sentiment, you could always flip the heart over and stamp your own. But I did stamp that on there so you'd have a sentiment. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. And if you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. I'm happy to answer all questions. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.